The night before El Clásico and Real Madrid fans are not talking about tactics, they're not talking about Barcelona, they are talking about a punch. A punch, Maria, inside the dressing room.
The comments are absolutely unhinged today, and honestly, I can't even blame people. When one fan is typing, Tchouaméni hit Valverde hard in the face, now Real Madrid are finished, you know we've entered a different dimension of drama.
That quote is doing the rounds everywhere. Tchouaméni hit him hard in the face. Now it's all ruined. That's the energy. El Clásico tomorrow, and the biggest story is whether our own players are swinging at each other.
And look, Valverde's partner Mina Bonino came out publicly and said there was no punch, no fight, nothing. Her words were essentially, if you want blood, you're not going to get it. But do fans believe her? Absolutely not.
Because here's the thing, and one fan put this perfectly. 3 weeks ago, Valverde was being worshipped. He was the most hard-working Madridista on the pitch, the heart of the team, El Guerrero. Now suddenly there's a faction saying he needs to be dropped? Que barbaridad, tío.
That comment was sharp. Someone wrote, paraphrasing, 3 weeks ago, Valverde was being idolized for his performance against Manchester, called the most fighter and most Madridista of the whole season. Now people want him out. The fan base has a very short memory when things go sideways.
And the other angle that nobody seems to want to address? A different fan pointed out that it was Valverde who hit someone first, and everyone's still only talking about Mbappé. Make it make sense.
That's the Mbappé distortion field at work. Everything gets filtered through whether you love him or hate him. Even a dressing room incident that apparently has nothing to do with Kylian somehow becomes about Kylian.
Speaking of which, Madre mia, the Mbappé discourse today has reached levels I didn't think were possible, even for us. One fan wrote, and I'm translating this directly, Mbappé is laughing in our faces again. His behavior is truly insufferable. He can leave with his 50 goals a year. Those goals cost us 45 million a year. He's inconsequential. 45 million. Inconsequential. On El Clásico Eve.
The laughing in our faces thing keeps coming back. We talked about this yesterday, that image of Mbappé seemingly amused while things are falling apart around him. It has become the symbol for a certain group of fans of everything wrong with this project.
And another fan went even further and said, translating, this squad changed the moment Mbappé arrived. He was responsible for Ancelotti leaving, and apparently he doesn't like Arbeloa either. That's a serious accusation, Tio. You're basically saying one player dismantled the coaching staff.
The Arbeloa piece is interesting because there's a whole thread of reporting suggesting he's had direct confrontations with multiple players since taking over. One fan framed it as an accountability moment, essentially asking, why aren't the club's shareholder representatives demanding an emergency meeting to get answers? Which is actually a fair structural question.
Vamos, someone wrote basically that the socios representatives need to call an assembly and demand explanations. Otherwise, what are they even there for? And you know what? I find it hard to argue with that. If the dressing room is genuinely combusting the night before El Clásico, someone should be answering for it.
Meanwhile, the Tomás Roncero call-out was hilarious and also kind of devastating. One fan reminded everyone that Roncero, the journalist, one of the biggest Mbappé cheerleaders, swore Kylian would never take his oath at the Bernabeu, then welcomed him with open arms, then said they'd dominate Europe. 2 years later, here we are.
The fan was basically saying, the media that serves this club has zero credibility on Mbappé because they've been wrong at every single turn. And I think that's why the anger is so intense. It's not just about Kylian's performances, it's about feeling like fans were sold a dream that never arrived.
Now, there is one small sliver of good news cutting through all this dressing room chaos: Courtois. The word is, he's pointing toward the starting 11 tomorrow, which at least gives fans something to rally around. Thibaut, in goal for El Clásico, is the kind of thing that unites people.
Courtois coming to the rescue of the dressing room. That's genuinely how one report framed it, and fans have latched onto that. There's something almost poetic about it. Everything is falling apart, and the big Belgian goalkeeper is the adult in the room.
There's also this one comment that I keep thinking about. Someone tried to be positive and said roughly, let's be positive. Let's hope we learn to take action when needed and stop letting the squad manage itself. The coach needs to be able to do what he thinks is right. And honestly, that feels like the voice of reason buried under all the fire.
Self-management of the squad. That's the phrase. The feeling that players have too much power. that Arbeloa is fighting battles he shouldn't have to fight, and that the institution has lost control of the dressing room. On El Clásico Eve, Tio. On El Clásico Eve.
And then there's the La Liga situation quietly simmering underneath all of this. A few fans were pointing out that with the squad they have, they should be champions. One fan basically said the whole season has been wasted potential, and another suggested the points gap should have been built differently, that this title race shouldn't even be close.
Which means tomorrow is enormous in a way that goes beyond just El Clásico bragging rights. If Real Madrid win tomorrow, so much of this toxicity gets buried. If they lose, Madre Mia, I don't even want to think about what the comment section looks like on Sunday.
The pressure is real, but look, we've been doing this long enough to know that Real Madrid fans can go from complete despair to delirious joy in 90 minutes. The dressing room chaos, the Mbappé anger, the Valverde punch debate, all of it can be forgotten if Vini puts one in the top corner at the Bernabeu.
And on that note, tomorrow morning we are back before kickoff with everything you need going into the biggest game of the season. The fan mood, the final team news, all of it. Hala Madrid, and please Tio, let's get through tonight without any more punches.
We'll see you tomorrow morning, Clásico Day. Don't be late. Hala Madrid.